it's KK here, and today I have been going through some stuff in my room, and I found a few particular items that are related to the 90s. Yes, I'm a 90s kid, born 1992, age 24. Even though I get mistaken as being a 16-year-old, no, I am older than I look. Anyway, I thought I could be all nostalgic and reminisce with you guys because it seems that's what 90s kids do. So I want to show you a few of these items that I found when I was growing up as a kid that I used. So let's get started, hey? Number one. The Nokia phone. I feel like this has been talked about a lot in regards to the 90s. And yes, I remember getting this when I was in 6th grade, so I was about 11 years old. This is actually the exact phone I use because it has the label of the speed dial numbers to call like my mom, my dad, my brother. I think he had one too. Yeah, of course he did. Texting was a pain, and it was unlimited texting, so you couldn't even really do it. But I would remember being so excited that you can actually play a game on this. Snake. Nowadays, people would be like, the frick is this? And yes, everyone who says this phone is indestructible, you can throw it off a building, run over it with a car, it will still work after all the hell it's been through. Because yeah, this thing, indestructible. Not like today's phones where you just drop it once and it cracks, like my current phone right now. On to the next item. Now I mentioned gaming, so let me go on with that little trend of the item number 2. The Game Boy Pocket. I had the Game Boy, the very first one. Here's a little picture of it to show you what it looks like. But this one, my brother and I both were able to get, and it's the Game Boy Color, and it is still awesome, and I still have a few of the games. I couldn't find any of the games as of right now, but I remember playing one. It was like a Bugs Bunny game. You need to collect all the carrots. There were enemies where you had to run away from them and then collect all the carrots, and then the door opened, and that was intense gaming right there. Yes, and this is where you put the cartridge in. I'm covering the name because I don't think this one is mine, but red's my favorite color, so I just grabbed this one. I think there was a yellow one that was actually mine, but to stick with the gaming theme, I will also introduce the console. Da-da-da-da-da-da. Super Nintendo. This is the game. This is the system where you hear about the game Duck Hunt, and it came with the gun. And I thought that was so advanced at the time, and I was so amazed by it, and I always loved playing it. Here's where the game goes through the cartridge. I don't care what anyone says, blowing into the game cartridge works. It worked, okay? It was some magic, I don't care, it worked. I think ours was a bit wonky because the power button, you have to keep going on, off, until it actually worked. And then here's the little eject button. I always love that. And reset button. The game controller and the games are actually in a separate box, so I couldn't find that right now. But here is the game system, and it's so light compared to the ones now. Whew. Whew. Wow. Nowadays, you can buy PC game on Steam. Ooh. Nowadays, you can buy a PC game on Steam, and it's downloaded right there, or torrent, whatever you do. I won't say anything, I won't judge. But yes, but back in the day, you need to use disc. I feel like you can still use disc, but yes, I remember always having to go to the store and buying these games. This one was my favorite one. I don't know if you can see, it's glaring. Orly. Draw Story. I loved this game. My friend had it. I always played at her place, and then one year I actually got it and I was super excited. And then this is basically like Nintendogs. Dogs. They had, I don't know how many they had, but basically it's the same premise as Nintendogs, where you need to take care of the dog, but you can also do little things with them. I wonder if they're still alive. It reminds me of Neopets and all the other games. Tamagotchi. Let's not think about it. Let us not think about all the animals we have abandoned in PC games and any other games. I'm sure they're fine. Now, I mentioned phones, right? Well, what did we do before cell phones? We had landlines where you actually need to connect the wire into the wall and call from home, and you need to have pretty good timing and luck in order to figure out if your friend was home or not. So this isn't exactly the same phone I had. This is much older, but you know what? It has the same function. Had the cord that there was always one that was always out of line, and you could not do anything about it because it just would never go in sync and it would drive me insane. But yes, you need to wait until it goes all the way around to dial a number. And this is the wire. I don't think I can connect to it to the wall, as you can see. It would be interesting if I could actually use it again. When you actually said hang up, you would actually hang up the phone. Mine was on a wall. This one's not on a wall, but I would actually hang it up. That's where the phrase came from. But I remember having to create a whole speech for when a parent would pick up the phone instead of your friend, and you'd have to be like, hello, my name is Kate, is so-and-so home? And be all super sweet. And then also there was no caller ID, so you also had to press *69 in order to get the number and figure out if it's in your address book. Yes, an actual physical book. And if you didn't have the number, then you just were out of luck. So many awkward calls. How about something again with a computer? You know, in Microsoft Word, when you want to save your documents, well, you know the little icon for the save button? There's a picture in there, and it's actually a picture of something, and it is called this buddy right here. It is called the floppy disk. There is an older version. I don't have the older versions anymore, but this is one of the newer ones, I guess. But I use this all the time for when I had to do projects in school and I had to save my work. There was no USB, there was no SD cards, there was probably no external hard drive. If there was, I did not know about it. But this thing I was dependent on, and a lot of good memories, some bad memories, and I wonder what's on this actually, because I know there's something saved on it. It is written somewhere here, very faded, but yes, I would love to actually look inside and see what's still on here. But I am very thankful for the USB SD cards, external hard drives right now, because this thing was a pain. You couldn't save much on it, so we have advanced. So I have done computers, I've done games, I've done phones. How about some music? Well, music, I had the cassette player. Could not find any of my own cassette players, but I had like Hercules. I think I had Britney Spears. Yes, I had a whole bunch of cassettes and the cassette player, just to distinguish between. But then CDs came about. I will go through a few of the ones I have quickly. I had Pokemon, and for some reason it's in an NSYNC case because I probably couldn't find the actual case for it, and and then it kind of makes me wonder where my NSYNC CD is. This is actually a soundtrack for the first movie because it was amazing. Speaking of NSYNC, here's another of their CD. I think I was a bigger NSYNC fan than Backstreet Boys fan, but I still love them equally. I still listen to them. This one had Pop girlfriend. Can you be my girlfriend? Now 4. What now are they up to now? This one has Larger Than Life, Britney Spears, Crazy, Mandy Moore, Candy, I Feel 65, Blue. I know da ba dee da ba da da ba dee da ba da da ba dee da ba. And Jennifer Lopez, Waiting for Tonight. That's a few. Oh, and Blink-182. All the small things. Yeah. I think this one was my favorite one. I have a Now 7 and Now 9, but I think Now 4 was my favorite one. Another Pokemon CD. And this one has basically all the songs from the show. We're on the road to Viridian City. And then 18s. Yes, the ABBA generation has Mamma Mia, Gimme Gimme, Dancing Queen, and yes, that's a few of them. My favorite ones, I say. Mamma Mia, here I go again. Mama, how could I let you go? I hope those are the lyrics. But yes, CDs. I have a whole bunch, but that's all for now. Last but not least, item number 8. I think this is really what made my childhood, is videotapes. VCR, VHSs. VCR was what you put the VHSs into. And I do have a VCR, but that would be impossible to lift and carry because it's really bulky and heavy. So here are a few of the ones I have. I have a lot more, and there's a whole box filled with them. So I have Sonic, and I'll take this one out to show you. This one is it has a white tape, and I remember having to wind them when you actually rented them from Blockbuster. This one's actually wound up already because I was so good. But Sonic the Hedgehog, this is actually a pretty good movie, and I remember Eggman and all that, and yeah. Next one, Tiny Toons. We're tiny, we're toony, we're all a little loony. This movie's still good, and I would still watch this. Pokemon, the first movie. It's amazing. And I still cry at that scene with Ash and Pikachu, and I was seriously traumatized as a kid when I watched that because I was thinking, is this the end? Oh my god. Thankfully not, because they then made Mewtwo Returns, which wasn't as good, but I still liked it. And then last, The Never-Ending Story. They have a second one, and I think the 2 movies actually make up the book. I read the book. Still good, a little darker, but I could always watch this again and again and again. So that is just a few of the items I have from the 90s that I kept. I feel like I have a bit more somewhere around hidden, but this is all I could scrap up for now. I think it's really cool to look back on the things I used as a kid and then thinking about how far we've come, and it's really cool to just take that moment to really appreciate the technological advances that have happened in such a short amount of time. I can't wait to see what else is gonna be coming up in the future. I mean, VR is now becoming a big thing, and I think that is awesome. I've tried it out, and it's just so cool, and it made me feel like when the cell phone first came in color and a flip phone. And I hope that if you're from the 90s or even beyond that, you can look at these items and be like, oh my god, I remember this. And for those who didn't know the items, maybe were born after the 90s and the 2000s era, well, I hope you can know some of these things already. And if you don't, that's fine too. Just learn about it, and I don't expect you to know these things. How would you? You weren't growing up with it. So yes, let me know in the comments below if you used any of these things when you were growing up, and if you didn't, what do you think about these things? Would you ever use them? Maybe you would want to try them somehow. let me know. And subscribe over here if you would like to see any more of these types of videos. I think I can do it for cell phones, game consoles, the evolution of them, like a Pokemon. And yes, also remember to give this a thumbs up if you enjoyed. Yeah? Alrighty, I'm done. That's all for now. And I will see you next time. Bye! Do you ever wonder why this music getting too high? It takes you on a ride. Feel it when your body starts to rock. And baby, you can't stop, 'cause music's all you got. This must be